Hello again, you lovely, lovely people. Today I'm going to talk about my post divorce years and what I did. And you might be surprised. You might be surprised. I was 36 when I got divorced, and I was really upset at the time. And I think it took me about, I don't know, 6 months or a year, to actually get over it. And I started to earn a lot of money on the internet, as I said in one of my videos where I was working online and providing the links to the live streams of the sporting events. Anyway, I was earning lots of money, people, really. And then I started going out with friends, and I started raving, going to the underground raves. And these underground raves in England, you'd find out maybe 2 or 3 hours before where they were going to be held, because they were illegal. And the police, if they found out about it, they would swarm the place and close it down. So these places, and they were normally barns, in really secluded areas. And then someone would get a message, and then that message would be passed around everybody, and then everyone would be out raving. And that was the time of the drugs, people. It was acid and ecstasy, and it caused a lot of problems and a lot of deaths with a lot of people. But I was in that scene, not distributing, by no means or no standards was I, but I was in that scene. And I used to be a heck of a good raver. I did, people, I did. And this is what we lived for back in them days. And this is only 30, about 24 years ago. And I was a proper raver, people, even before that, but not so much as when I got divorced. And we'd be out all the time. And this was, I think, part of the reason why I did get divorced, because I was a good father, my ex-wife told me, but I wasn't a very good husband. And I totally get that, and I do agree with her at that time, because I was out all the time doing things I shouldn't have been doing. But it's in the past. And I went on holidays here, holidays there, and I lived the life. I did. I had a damn good life. And then I was quite good looking, believe it or not. I was good looking in them days. And I'm not shameless admitting this, but, I've got no regrets. Like I said, I haven't got any regrets of the things that I've done. Some things I shouldn't have done, but I've got no regrets. And I was woman to woman back in them days. And the people who knew me, who still know me back in England, would say the same. I had a different woman every week. And the women that I was with, they were the same kind of people. We just go, we'd dance, we'd come back, to the house, we'd do, all of that kind of stuff. I was living the dream. I was living the dream. I was living the life of a single man who'd been married, and there's a dog barking down there. I can't stop it, and I can't move any further away. Otherwise, about going into the undergrowth. But I was living the life, people. I was living a damn good life and doing what I wanted to do. And I never thought it was going to end, especially the earning money side of things. I never thought that was going to end. Or maybe I thought it was going to end, but I didn't think about it. So I didn't save anything, but I had a damn good time. I had a BMW M3 that I went and bought from London. After that, I had a Ford Cosworth. Oh no, before that I had the Cosworth. Then I had the BMW M3 black. Brilliant system, really. Brilliant car, brilliant sound system in it. And after that, I think I got an Audi Quattro. I can't remember. But I had damn good cars, and I was Jack the Lad. I was Jack the Lad, people. Many of you people might have done the same thing when you got divorced, especially when you were in your 30s. And I haven't got any regrets, and everything was spontaneous back in them days. I'd think, I want to go away somewhere. So I would book it up there and then, and perhaps the holiday would be booked for that same evening. And I'd phone a friend, 50-50. I would phone a friend, James his name was, who we used to go away with all the time together. James, coming out where? We're going to Spain. Yeah, okay. Booked that, and away we went. And they were like only short holidays, like 4 days, but we had 4 bloody good days. And we did this often. And we used to go all over the place. And at the time, I had a friend who, he was a band manager and used to manage a lot of bands. And we used to go to many of these places. Brixton Academy, when it was open. What's it called? There was many of these places. The place in the Forum, Tunbridge Wells, Camden Palace, when it was Camden Palace. All over the place we used to go, and we had we had backstage passes, so we used to go in backstage. What happens backstage? All kinds happens backstage, people, believe me, all kinds happen backstage. And the festivals, we had passes for the festivals, VIP passes. Glastonbury, Guildford Festival at the time, I think that's gone now, Guildford Festival. All of these festivals, we never cost us anything because of my friend who was a manager and used to sell their merchandise as well at these places. And a damn good time, people. A damn good time that we had. When I go back to them days, I've still got it in me a little bit of the dancing part of things. Sometimes I'll stick a bit of the 90s dance music on in the house with the speakers, and I've still got it, people. I've still got it. I mean, I'm not as fast as what I used to be, raving and dancing, but I can still do it. And my wife thinks I'm a right twat. She thinks I'm a right twat. But I can still do it. And I used to say to her, Mira, I says, back in the day, we used to have glow sticks and whistles. And she's looking at me like as if I'm, like I'm from another planet. And the reason I'm doing this video is because this morning I put a bit of it on, actually. And Mira was kind of, I thought, that's good. I says, Mira, back in the day, I was like that. And there was an audience dancing, with these videos. And I said, I was like that. She says, was you? I said, yeah, watch. And that's when she thought I was a right tit. But I did, people. I was a bloody good dancer. Or I thought I was. But I could do it. And these raves, they went on all night. You finished these raves, it was light. And it was normally on a Sunday morning. You'd finish and then you were spaced out. And you couldn't sleep because of all the stuff that you'd done. So you were still like, wanting more. But would I go back to those days? No, I certainly wouldn't. But I've lived that life. I've lived a very colourful life. I have. And this is now my settling down years now. And so the stages of my life have been married life, which I wasn't a very good husband back in them days, first to admit it. I was, like my father, I was a ladies' man back in them days. And of course, I was never happy with one. But as time goes on, you change. I think back then I was too young, people, as well. I was still full of beans, I didn't want to settle down. But now I want to settle down. I have settled down. And I think these are the best years for me being a husband. And I mean, I'm getting on now in life. But it's took me this amount of years to actually settle down and to actually have a family where I am responsible father. I'm a responsible husband. And it's funny how life changes you. Not life, but time. Time changes you. It is chapters of your life. It is chapters in your life. You have that chapter where you're mental, if that's the kind of person that you are, and a good time person. Many people aren't like that. I was. And I was a bloody good raver, people. I was a bloody good raver. And I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change any part of my life. I really wouldn't. But the money dried up. The internet work that I did, it was getting harder and harder, and it become a grey area. So it was harder to advertise on Google AdWords. some weekends I would spend £5,000 to £10,000 on advertising, to get my, my site out there. But I got that back 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times in a night. And I used, all these sporting events that I used to do, the boxing was always the better one for earning money. But like I said, it dried up. I come out of it with good memories, and things I ordinarily would never have been able to do if I didn't earn that kind of money. Things that many of you wouldn't do if you did have the money, and that's fair dues. But but I never caused any trouble. I've never caused any trouble. I mean, I'd stand my ground at the time if I had to, but luckily enough, it was a rarity because everyone was on the same kind of, everyone was on the same cloud. But that was my post-divorce years, and I think when the money dried up and then I was working again, earning a good salary, but that chapter had gone. That chapter of my life had gone. But it's still in me for the dance and to have a good time periodically. I think that's why, I do like to go out for a few hours sometimes, maybe once a month, once every 2 or 3 months. I still like to do that now and again. And I like to do it with friends. And at the moment, my friends are Filipino friends. And you don't have to ask a Filipino twice if you want to go out for a few beers. They will always be obliging to that. And again, never any trouble. I come back home, and Mira's always as good as gold as long as I'm back at a reasonable time. Like I said, I'm going to come back. She's perfectly okay. But at the moment, because of what's going on in the house with the new baby, with Zach and stuff like that, I've got no notion to do it. And I won't do it until Zach is older, Mira's a bit more, free, and those things. But it'll come again, I'll start going out again periodically, maybe once every couple of months only for a few hours. And going out, I don't mean going out clubbing. Those days have gone with me, people. Although I could easily go in a club. And fit in, I think. But I'll probably look around and think, my goodness, I'm the oldest person here. I feel a right twat. So I'll probably just drink my drink and go, But these days, for me, I don't mind, being sat outside of a sari-sari, with the local people having a few beers. I'm happy with that. And I haven't got, so far to roll home. Only, 50 yards, if that. And that does me, and my wife knows where I'm at. And, Kaylin normally sits with me for a little while and then he goes home. That's when I was doing it, but now I haven't done it for a while. But it will come. I'm sure it will come when Zach's a bit older and I said, Mira's a bit freer. It will come again. So my life has been very colourful, people. It really has. And I think this chapter in my life is how can I explain it? Or how can I, maybe my family years, let's just say that, my settling down years, my final years of being a good father. Although my ex-wife said I was a good father, but I wasn't a very good husband. So I would say being a good husband, being a responsible husband. And I always put Mira and Kaylin and Zach now, before myself, always. I always have. And Mira said, why don't you buy yourself something? I said, no, I'm okay. You first and Kaylin first and now Zach. So I'm always at the end of the list. But I don't care. I don't have to prove myself to anybody. I don't have to go around in designer clothes and designer leather shoes or anything like that. I am who I am here, and I'm allowed to be what I want to be. And I love it. So people, whatever you're doing, do it well if you can, and enjoy yourself while you can. And I say this many times, but try and stay healthy, especially here in the Philippines. Medical bills, we don't want them. We certainly don't want them. And God bless you all. And Stephen is going to be over and out. Take good care, people. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.